Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now guys, I want to set this narrative against the background of the Sowore situation. Sowore, as you know, is in the custody of the Nigerian state, standing accused of treasonable felony, and some of the charges that's been leveled against him is that he moved money between accounts, and the monies that they're accusing him of moving between accounts, and the accounts, by the way, are his accounts. So he moved money from his business account, which is Sahara Reporters, to personal accounts. So money was moved between a business account, a business owned by himself, to a personal account owned by himself. So this is what they are describing as money laundering, as part of a total package that they are now describing as treasonable felony. So I wanted to set that background, guys, as I bring you this. There is no merit in bullion van petition against Tinubu. That is why EFCC is not acting on them, and this is attributed to a Sage. So that's the headline. There is no merit in bullion van petition against Tinubu. That is why the EFCC is not acting on them, and this statement is attributed to a chap called Sage. So now let's see now what this man has to say. Chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, PACAC, Professor Etsi Sage, has defended the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC over its alleged cold feet in probing All Progressive Congress APC chieftain Bola Tinubu over the bullion van spotted at his home on the eve of the 2019 presidential election, even after receiving a petition. Sage stated that Tinubu should be given a benefit of the doubt as he has got rich from his own hard work and investment. He also alleged that the petition was written in bad faith and hatred, which is why the EFCC is not investigating. He said, "There is no credence in the petitions. What is there to investigate? You know, Nigerians are very adept at writing petitions. They like frivolous petitions just as they like litigation. If you know how many petitions are thrown out at the NJC, you will be amazed. The Nigerian mind tends to be very vicious in terms of these things. They don't like Tinubu, so they must write a petition against him. A stupid, baseless petition. My view is that there is no basis for those petitions. There is no merit in those petitions, and that is why the EFCC is not acting on them." They said they cited bullion vans in front of his house. Is that an offense? It makes no sense to me. If a bullion van comes to my house now to deliver anything, does it make me a criminal? Even if it is money and it is my money, what is wrong in that? So I don't see anything in those petitions. They are just written in bad faith and hatred, and they can't expect the EFCC to join them in this baseless hatred of others and pursue a vicious campaign of calumny. Tinubu was already very rich before he became governor. He is not a man who became rich after he joined the government. He worked in the petroleum sector. I recall that during the course of his fight with Abacha, he had to escape for his life in order to join so many others like Anthony Enahoro, Wole Soyinka, and many other pro-democracy activists. Tinubu was the one funding quite a lot of organizations and those staying abroad, so he has always been a man of means. It will be ridiculous that having come back to the country, won't he invest his money in various ventures? So no one should be surprised that he is a rich man. So now this is now what the Buhari regime is now saying as an explanation to the bullion van that was seen going into Tinubu's house on the eve of the presidential election. So let's just take a moment to really peruse that situation, that scenario that we're asking the EFCC to look into. So this guy, this Professor Etsi Sage, is saying that Tinubu has always been a man of means. But how did he become a man of means is the real question. So what business enterprise is he engaged in, is he involved in, to have created this vast wealth enough that will require bullion vans to transit them? So you have enough money that you no longer now are able to carry it in a car or in your pocket. You now need bullion vans the sort of vehicles that transit money between financial institutions to transit your money. So that's the first question. So what business has he done? Because if you look at Tinubu's life, he has always, to my understanding, and as far back as I've always known this guy, he has always only been in politics. He was in politics in 1999, and before that, he was fighting Abacha. He was in politics, UPN, MPN. He has always been in politics. He had a stint as an executive in some oil farm, but I am not sure that he would have made sufficient enough of money from there to now control this vast wealth that we're seeing being displayed so vulgarly by this person. So this person, to all intents and purposes, has always been in politics, and off the back of being in politics, he has now become supremely wealthy. So now, how do you now marry supreme wealth with a life in politics, which is a salaried income? So no matter how well paid you are as a politician, you are still on a salary. And I do not think that the salary that you're getting as a politician will be sufficient enough for you to need bullion vans to transit it. So now, the source of his wealth remains a mystery, but of course we can all guess at it. He was in charge of Lagos State as for 8 solid years directly, and remotely he has been in charge of Lagos State pretty much since 1999. And Lagos State, of course, is by far the wealthiest state, the wealthiest city in the whole of Africa. I can say that there's supreme wealth in Lagos State. Lagos State is almost as wealthy as the Nigerian state by itself. So anybody that is now in charge of that is sitting on a gold, silver, oil, and everything mine. Is just sitting on stupendous wealth, Mansa Musa level wealth. Is that what that person is sitting on? So now we know that his industry is politics, and we know that he is wealthy. So now we can then do our own calculations to see where that money came from. So that's the first bit. The second bit is there were 2 bullion vans, which were all clear in our minds are vehicles used to transit money. So there were 2 bullion vans seen coming into this guy's house on the eve of the presidential election. So that's the second bit. So this guy is asking why we're asking the EFCC to look into Tinubu, and these are the reasons. So there were 2 billion vines going into this guy's house on the eve of the presidential election. That's the second bit. So now, the person that this bullion van is going into the house of is the chairman of the ruling party. So now you now see that a case is now starting to build. So you have a politician who has always been in politics now controlling stupendous wealth. Now you now have monies being moved in bullion vans on the eve of the presidential election into the house of the chairman of the ruling party. Is that not sufficient enough to be investigated is the next question. So now, if these monies are being moved with bullion vans into this guy's house on the eve of the presidential election, then the next logical question to ask is, what purpose is that money being moved there to serve? Because it's not a random date. It's not sending his wife to the market to go and buy malu to feast for a weekend, to throw party. No, it is on the eve of a presidential election, and the focus of that man, being the chairman of the ruling party, is on nothing else other than the election that is about to take place. So he has no other business concern at that moment in time other than the election that's about to take place. So now you now have 2 bullion vans going into his house on the eve of that election, and you are now saying that is not enough of a suspicious movement of money that should require an investigation. I mean, just look at the logic of it, because you can see that the case is building up. So we now go back to the Sowore situation. So you say Sowore is moving monies between bank accounts, and you are saying is money laundering. So you are saying, by the way, look at the argument that this guy gave, that Tinubu is a wealthy man and he can do as he pleases, and there's no reason to look at him. So you're now saying Sowore is moving money between his business account and his personal account, all accounts registered in his name, and you are describing that as money laundering. And what money is being laundered, by the way, the amount in discussion is not up to $20,000, and we're talking about the CEO of a multinational international media house. So the CEO of an international leading media house with one of the foremost media houses in Nigeria, is moving $20,000, and you are saying that is money laundering. If that is money laundering, then what is bullion vans, 2 bullion vans filled with money? Well, because bullion vans can only be filled, it cannot be, they cannot have used it to go and carry malu. There's nothing else that a bullion van will carry other than money. So 2 bullion vans moving into somebody's private home on the eve of an election, what is that? If Sowore moving $20,000 or less than between his own personal accounts is being described as money laundering, then how do you describe bullion vans moving into the house of the chairman of the ruling party on the eve of an election? And this guy will have it be the case that Tinubu is a wealthy man and he can do as he pleases, and it is frivolous, and it is hatred, and it is eternal, and we're all jealous because he's wealthy and all this kind of thing. This is now what the rebuttal that we're getting from the Malam Buhari regime. So effectively what they're saying to you is that no investigation is going to take place in this instance, and you can just get lost, and get lost is you will, because there's nothing really you can do about it. Conversations in the comment section, double standards. This is something we're not used to within the Nigerian space, but is it something that we should be used to, or is it something that we should allow ourselves to be used to? And if we are not used to it, then what can be done? There's really nothing we can do. You can just fold your arm. You can go to law, but then of course Atiku has already been to law. Countless people, Adeleke went to law, everybody went to law, and you also what they came back with. Come tell me what you're making of this explanation coming out of the Buhari camp regarding and defending Tinubu in the comment section. But before you do this, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you're making of this money movement and excuses that we're hearing in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.